Kind of bad for Polt, though. I mean, he had a bit of a rough time there versus top, TVT, a couple of weird decisions, a couple of very stressful maps, and now he's going into another TVT.
Yeah.
That's a fairly brutal sort of situation to find yourself in, but we'll see how things fare here. Both of these guys so very solid. And, yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, of course, in the bottom right, we do have Polt, TSL.Polt, and I'll talk a little about this guy in a minute, and we do have Keen from Team MVP, but talking a bit about Polt in terms of his getting back and recovery is he went through a phase, and I'm sure everybody knows MC's story as well, where MC traveled to every event, got tired out, got jaded, wasn't performing the same level. Polt actually experienced the same thing.
He was going to everything, man.
He went to everything. MLG, the Texas tournament. I can't remember the name of it. Sorry.
It's like the Lone Star.
The Lone Star. That's right. Lone Star. He played at the Assembly, DreamHack, you name it. He played at everything, and then was just at the last DreamHack. Really tipped him off the scale.
Yeah.
He played at the DreamHack. He played on stage versus Thorzane, got second. Felt he should have won, just wasn't happy. And then after that, it just proceeded in bad results. And he basically said, all right, that's it. Time to sit back, chill out, not play as many live events, calm down, stop traveling as much. He denied a couple of invites to tournaments. And now he's back. And he's feeling better than ever from what I've talked to him about. And it's great to hear that too. And he's performing like it. He is absolutely performing like it. We saw great games from him before.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Especially very stressful games where the decision making was everything, and he still managed to come out on top. So in Terran versus Terran, where as you said, it's your decisions, your positioning, and your information that you have available to you about what your opponent is up to. It all comes down to how can what are you gonna do in these matches? And Polt is really proving that he's second to none, man. He's got some great plays already in mind, and he's already rolling off at the top. So no information, as we said, information is key. Keen, not so much.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, Keen's trying to get the information, but Polt doesn't want to just give it away that he's going one barracks expansion, which some players don't really care about. Some people do, and Polt obviously showing that he does. And it also is a little bit safer against any kind of crazy 2 racks. If he's blind, remember, Polt's playing blind, so a little bit safe. Meanwhile, Keen, on the other hand, has gone Refinery, which, as we talked about, you need to do something if you're going to play this style. A handful of SCV kills, units being brought down or something to allow you to get a decent economy behind it. But Keen now will build a factory. Most likely actually we are seeing it, a double refinery. So he's going to go up to Cloak Banshee really, really early on, unless it's some really sick, fast tank push, which can happen here and there. But Cloak Banshee has to deal damage, and behind it looks potentially like he'll just expand, but could not. Could be for straight into 1-1-1 style of play here. But the end line here is he has to do damage versus his opponent, who's of course got 1 barracks command center.
Yeah, 2 refineries now, so he is going to be catching up slowly but surely. Yeah. But as you said, the thing is that Polt already went through this with Top, where Top was playing these very kind of aggressive styles that had to do damage early on, and Polt was fairly capable with dealing with those. He didn't take too much damage, and he was fairly strong on the defensive. So we'll see how things work out here for Keen, who is going to be obviously attempting the same sorts of strategies, and Polt, really just showing that he's able to deal with it.
And with the reactor down, you can increase the marine count a lot, which could lean towards a 1B style of play. But with nothing coming down on the factory and the SCV moving down, it will be a command center.
Yeah. So he's not fully committed to this.
A little bit weird to go on the reactor a little bit early on there. On the barracks, there's no really need to it. Could have got the command center down a little bit faster, then add the reactor or something along those lines. Just produce marines off 1 cycle instead of 2. But there's the Banshee, and followed by that will most likely be Cloak. But in Terran versus Terran, at 6 minutes plus, you're going to have a natural scan timing, which Polt will, if he scans at it, will see the Cloak Banshee coming.
And we'll see if they do. I mean, both of these guys actually showing that they were a little reticent, at least on the first map of their series. But 6 minutes is fast approaching, or 6.5.
They're about to have the scans available. Polt has a scan available. Is he going to scan?
And he does, right on the money as well. Sees the Cloak Banshee, or sees the Banshee at least.
And there's a tech lab on a factory, so he doesn't need an engineering bay technically. Because
he could deal with this with straight Marines.
Likewise, it was an equal scan down, and they both see what they're each doing. And that's, 9 times out of 10 the reason why you don't need a scout in Terran versus Terran, because if you think about the aggressive options, double racks early on, most of it can be held off by a bunker, which Polt has. And all you need to know is he going Cloak Banshees or not? Because that's the only thing that can really damage you. And that's why both of them scan him. He's not dedicating to close.
Yeah.
Single
already
lone
got,
Banshee, man.
Polt's already got the Viking out as well, so or it's in production. So he's
Yeah.
gonna have Marines to deal with this. The Viking should be there in short order, and then all of a sudden, his Banshee's aggression is really gonna come for naught. Although 1, 2, will he get a third?
Nope,
Wow,
just
not
a-
quite.
2's okay. 3 kills. For non-club Banshee, it's actually okay. I mean, it's not the best in terms of his economy, but it's not bad. He does have really early siege mode and siege tanks. He could go for a pretty early push. Really early push. But the problem is that Stim is almost done for Polt. And he's got a tank out and a medivac already begun. And here's this maybe early push aligned with siege tank. But it's not really going to achieve the right results. There is a Viking out to aid, and it looks like the Banshee did finally fall down to that other Viking. Viking versus Viking, it looks like we are going to see a little bit of a win from Keen, which helps. But here's his push. Without combat shield does hurt. There are medivacs though, so you can easily pick up, drop behind, and stim run from behind, and easily stim and catch the tank before it's sieged up, which is what he's basically saying.
Too bad wasn't quite able to snipe that Viking there. But the tank is getting in position at the bottom of the ramp, allowing for the Marines to be able to push up here and there. Even an SCV brought up to go ahead and repair that Viking, so nicely done here by Keen. A little bit of pressure coming in, but Polt doesn't seem to be hurting too much for the time being.
One Viking comes out to snipe his opponent's Vikings. He has no high ground range. SCVs are being pulled up, but the thing is, Keen can always back out and run away, maybe, if Polt doesn't run instead and kill him, which is, of course, an option from Polt. Meanwhile, more barracks from Keen coming down, and likewise for Polt. But with a Viking coming out, push that single Viking away, a second one has to come back soon. And he can easily repair too. Like, both of them can repair the Viking.
Except that 3 SCVs repair faster than 1.
Yeah,
that's about it.
But 5 SCVs being killed, or not being killed, 6 SCVs being killed,
wow,
and off mining. This is pretty nice from Keen, but the problem is, if Keen unsieges and runs home, that's an opportunity for Polt to go, and he's going to look.
He's got Stim, he sees that they've unsieged.
Alright,
Oh, immediately picks up.
Though, because he can always just siege up again, I guess, but he's going to drop.
And his Viking is going to go ahead and notice that there is a forward aggression. Once again, I mean, those 3 tanks are actually going to prove to be a little bit of a pain in the nuts because he's going to take some supply depots out, and all of a sudden, his movement is hampered on the ramp as, his barrack, his tech lab combat shield is not going to finish.
This drop, though, on the left-hand side is completely catching his opponent off guard with Stim done, a tank out, tech lab's being researched, there's nothing at home.
He's got nothing to defend against this.
He's got nothing to stop this. He's got a single tank, which is way pointed the wrong way. And now that is undetected so far, that drop right in the corner.
Oh, beautifully done. Alright, well.
Combat shields does get cancelled on that tech lab, but right now, Polt's going to do so much SCV damage.
And here he goes, already racking up the kills, 4-5, and he is just laying into it, already evening out the playing field, and still the kills continue. He can even take this fight if he likes it.
He gets right. He gets right with the tech lab, and he gets still. No!
The SCVs are able to repair it in time, just in the nick of time. That would have been massive, though. Even delaying the stim further is such a nightmare for Keen, and that's actually going to force him off.
11 SCVs killed. Polt gets the Viking lead and pushes his opponents back, and it looks like Polt has successfully defended the third base down for both of these guys, or in construction, should I say. And that went rather well for both of these guys. And now stage 2 of the game, or probably a lot bigger of a stage happens. Well, next stage is happening. We have double engineering bay coming down from Polt. Of course, it's going double upgrades, and probably likewise for an opponent would want to go double engineering bay in a minute because of this aggressive style, and then versus defensive style, everything going to units here. Upgrades are really neglected so far.
This is going to be fairly annoying, though. I mean, scans are knocked indefinite, of course. He's going to run out eventually, but for the time being, Keen actually doing some pretty good harassment here, taking out a refinery, even some SCVs. So even really just these guys are so neck and neck, it feels. Although only a single engineering bay from Keen, opting not to go double upgrades.
That's really weird that he's only got 1 engineering bay. I mean, he'll have a lot more units out, I guess, but that's going to hurt his long-term plan in this game, which of course will help out Polt a lot more. And Polt now going to take his third base. Vikings will reign superior.
They're still scouting, though. They're still keeping an eye on Keen's army, and I like that a lot. We'll see if Polt can get in a decent position to be able to defend this, though, seeing as how Keen kind of has this area between the 2 bases netted off. He has to be careful with those Marines. Can't get too close to those siege tanks.
And there is that drop in 3 Marines still around on the left-hand side, but we do have a little light containment. Not really containing anything, to be honest, but... Oh!
There's a surprise for you.
Yeah, so far so good for both of these guys. I mean, the tanks there are annoying, but they don't really do anything. They're just there.
Yeah.
Like Polt doesn't care. He's like got a third base. He's got his upgrades. He's got a good unit count and production available. He doesn't really care at all.
Infrastructure's getting set up,
Yeah,
and now he's
so-
even spreading his Marines to make sure that there's no crazy expands going on. So
He can't escape. I mean, he can go up the left-hand side to escape. I think he may do that. Against a contain, the best way to beat a contain is just to drop. Like, you sit there with your own tanks and just drop your Marines. He's got the Vikings to see what's there as well.
and he sees
He
there's
may
no,
try to run away.
and he even has the Zelnaga, the forward Zelnaga tower
Yeah.
closest to Keen, so
He may
he
go up this left-hand side.
yeah, he sees no reinforcements.
He may break the rocks down and then just go for it. And like run all the way around. And imagine all those Marines at 1-1 running at the natural. There's nothing really there.
Yeah, this is actually looking fairly solid, although he will be aware of the reinforcements making their way across the map there. Because of that Zelnaga tower control, he's going to see exactly what Keen is up to.
Yeah, he sees a lot more units coming, so it's a big risk to go up this ramp and try to go around.
Is he trying to catch them on the high ground? This is it's kind of like thinking 2 steps ahead in a sense, because Polt
Yeah.
is now going to be able to shut this down.
Oh, he stims a handful, but not too much. There's an attack on the low ground supporting that.
Yeah. Nice
But-
positioning by that tank.
I
Oh,
like-
he's going to make his way forward and snipe it. So nice job there by Polt.
That was really nice. And he stims into this. He's got better upgrades than his opponent who has 0-0. No more medivacs
Oh,
as well.
wow.
And he can even bring down these tanks. And Keen oversteps his mark.
Gifted.
And Polt punishes him hard.
Very nicely done there by Polt. Gifted Marines, gifted tanks, and that's exactly what he wants. He's like, okay, well, the backbone of your contain here has been severely weakened, managing to take 3-4 tanks in that engagement.
And Polt's upgrades are about to start 2-2, whereas 1-0 is only just now completing for Keen, who runs away scared
to back
after
up.
losing that. Polt's army's getting very scary here, and he's moving across with the Vikings as well to aid out just a little bit. Polt is just playing so well in his turn versus turns. Keen is a great turn versus turn player, but Polt just seems to have, the up hand every single time we see him.
This is what we're talking. This is what you were talking about as well. It just feels like Polt is in shape again, because
Yeah.
we were used to seeing him clobber people like this, and it just feels like he's kind of regaining or hitting his stride again, and really, playing the game that he likes. So far, actually, the tables have kind of been turned now. Polt is turning the aggression on and kind of forcing Keen on the back foot.
And the right hand side is exposed, which is why Keen is moving around. Doesn't want to give it away. Like, just give that location towards his third base away. Polt very aware of that too. Sees the units there. Has a lot of units of them going. 2-2 now is on the way with +1 vehicle weapons, of course, as now the armory is done.
Yeah, and he still does have the upgrade advantage, seeing as how Keen doesn't have +1 armor, so he's only got the +1 attacks. A little bit of a mistake there with the waypoints, and that's a shame. But he will get that sorted out.
A lot of production available for Polt. A fourth base can easily come down for Polt now, but he does have position on this right hand side. He has more medivacs, he has better upgrades, and his opponent is, despite having the Zelnaga tower, he doesn't actually have the Zelnaga tower. But right now, hold that thought, because he's moving down.
He's looking for the engagement here.
But he has more medivacs despite the upgrade advantage for Polt there, and Keen will win that.
Polt has to turn tail. He's got reinforcements coming in. Don't get too greedy, Keen, and he will back right off.
Yeah, nice little fight there from Keen, saying that he, despite having the upgrade disadvantage, had more medivacs, so he could easily take that. But as I was saying, the Zelnaga tower's not actually taken by Keen. That's really bad.
He had all of his Marines just trying to go for this flank maneuver here.
Yeah.
But,
well, 2 factories down for both of these guys now.
Still, the waypoint's not set for those barracks.
Oh yeah,
What's going on with
the
that?
main base for Keen, not set at all of the waypoints. On those barracks, which are a little bit sloppy.
Oh, this is a little bit weird here because Polt is getting pushed back. There's a nice force here from Keen, and he may actually get between and sandwich Polt's army. Polt is going to have to react to this, and he's coming back with both Marine forces.
Is going to be set for Keen.
Yeah, there we go. Look at that. I didn't know there were that many Marines there sitting with that, and all of a sudden I'm like,
oh god.
what was a gutsy move by Keen? Actually, it was quite a blunder there.
Yeah, he took a lot of damage from that, and Polt just brings back all his Marines from those tanks.
Yeah.
Kills everything, but Keen, like you didn't think that there was Marines there.
I didn't think there were that many. I thought it was just a handful. Oh man.
A lot of tanks still available, but more Marines now for Polt, who knows this. Scans, sees the army out of position, and is going to go for a 2-2, about to finish here as well. And Polt has locked down this third base.
He didn't quite scan in time, or I guess he just wants to go for the third, but he could have caught a lot of siege tanks on siege there. In any case, he will snipe the third, and he will get a massive number of SCVs as well. Season is open as far as hunting is concerned, but now...
He needs to defend his third. The
Yeah.
tanks actually defend the natural, not the third. If only they were there sieged up on the third base, but Polt is going for the natural. Tanks and siege. Tanks and siege, they fall down, and Polt doesn't really need to go any further than that. Just come back, defend this. Even if he loses his third, a third and lifted a natural of his opponent. And Polt is staring at another victory here. As long as he keeps position, which he is doing on his natural, it is actually getting overrun a little bit. There are two tanks to support this, so it's not clearly in favor of Polt.
That's the thing. It's another.
Oh, actually, hold that thought.
He's got a lot of brains. He's got a lot of brains.
He has overrun the main race of Keen, and even if Polt loses natural, he keeps his main, and Keen loses his main. And Polt, man, still a best of 3, is looking in great shape in this tournament.
He is looking so fantastically strong. There's the GG, and Keen taps out finally. Fantastic. Good job by Polt.